all the seats out. We're going to town. Literally, this version 4 is going to have a version 5.6 entire engine body harness. Version 4 and 5.6 have the same dash, but the front harness is different. When it comes to the front harness portion goes into the door harness. You also need to keep or change this harness that goes into the door that controls the mirror, the window, and the control switches. We have the full harness already merged, and we want to do the entire harness for the whole car to make sure that everything's good wiring. This is out of Dylan's car, and we know that it works flawlessly. So,
okay, Kevin's got the back harness fully installed, all the door panels taken off, everything's reassembled. So now the most important part, that was important, but now we're going to be installing the front harness. So this is what goes behind the dash and runs into the engine bay. It's got the engine management system, right, that's running into the engine bay and be hooking up to the engine on both sides. We'll be installing that right now with the dash and the roll cage. Yeah, it came apart pretty easy, hoping it goes back together really easy. And after this, then we're moving to the front of the car. We already have the front harness kind of mocked up, kind of loosely installed. We want to make sure that we don't put anything down permanently until we know for sure that's where it goes. We have the Type R behind Kevin right now. That's awesome. We're using that as like we're mimicking where the harness goes and all the stock holes that are being utilized by the harness. We got everything kind of taped off, protected. We don't want to damage the paint. Yeah, so doing our best to just not touch the paint with our hands, not touch the paint with the harness, and just put it back where it goes.
all right, so this is the harness that is merged. As you can see, some people may see this and they'll just be like, it looks the same as the other one. Some people may see that it's a lot cleaner. This is actually the shape of the GC8 harness, how it originally is. There's no weird X's or anything like that. This portion right here goes to the left fender, and then it plugs right into the fuse box. This one goes across the firewall, mass airflow sensor, O2 sensor. This one we have rewired the intake air temp sensor, so it's got this extra wire right there. But then you see all this that goes underneath the driver's side dash area, one ECU. That's it. Super clean. We're actually going to rewrap this up. This is kind of we just got it. Nothing special. It's like normal tape and things like that. But we have some pretty cool wrap that we're going to put on it. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys the harness. This is what it should look like at least. So we have a lot of the harness all wrapped up. We're trying to make it any wires or any cables that are showing. We want to make it as clean as possible. We have it ran across over here, but just to kind of show you how much we are kind of redoing what was done before. If you look here, there is a connector. This is for the neutral. Hold on, I'll take it out. So this is for the neutral position sensor and the reverse light. They have made a connector, and then they ran DCCD specifically to a really funky valve control unit. So we are going to take this, we've made this back right, so we've actually pulled this off of another 6-speed that we have. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace this. Let me get this. So we have, now we'll plug this back in here. Little connectors. This is what they use, little butt connectors. So I'm going to use the same thing. So just simplicity. All right, so those are connected, right? And now what we'll do is the OEM location of this connector is right here. Boom. And because, I mean, this is just kind of like the little stuff that we're doing right here, just wrapping things up, making it look clean as possible. But this is the connector that goes here. So no funky connectors, it looks completely factory, right? Because it is. This 6-speed DCCD setup will plug right into. For example, if you have a Type R AV Limited or a Type R, any type of GC8 that has DC-CD already, you don't need to do all that funky stuff. I don't know why they did, but we're just gonna go ahead and bring it back to how it should be and press on. Keep on pressing on. So we have the engine in, turbo on. We're getting real close. We have the upgraded alternator in. We've got some wraps. So we're gonna actually redo the location of the way that this is ran once the manifold is done. Yes, once the manifold is done. This is supposed to be already the nice bright orange manifold on there. Powder coating shop is having some issues with the color. So we're still waiting on that. Harness is installed, interior is pretty much all set up. Some pretty cool things that we were able to do. Again, old school technology, trying to change it as new as possible. These blow-off valves right here, this is a Greddy, this is a Greddy. And we were able to take this one off and literally just install the newer style one. That was pretty cool. For the external wastegate, we had this monster of a thing right here. We were able to remove that, and we welded a V-band onto the dump pipe and installed the 38mm towel wastegate. We're getting close. It's getting really close. It's looking good. This is kind of the eyesore right now. So once this is gone, it's gonna pop completely differently. We also have some cool alternator covers and things like that that's coming on, but it's coming along good. It's coming along good. Soon we'll be ready for the base map and get this thing started and get it ready to run the speed density on CarBerry Rom.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
We are about done tuning. We are there at final assembly. Look at this big old bright orange that we got here. KTM orange. Get it all installed and show you the final product.
All right, guys, here's the final product. All the hard work. Remember, if you remember from the very beginning of the video, we had taken the wiring harness out of this thing. It was like 50 pounds more than what it was supposed to be. With all of the crazy technology that was put into it, they attempted to put a version 8 engine in this car and just did it wrong. So what we did, remerged the harness. For all the old technology with the wastegate and the blow-off valve, we put a Greddy blow-off valve on it, a 38mm Turbo Smart wastegate on it. We just modernized everything, cleaned everything up. Everything worked out with powder coating. We got the brakes powder coated to match the intake, so you'll see that here soon, and we'll do a quick reveal, but we got all the bolts, all titanium gold bolts are on this engine bay. We also, of course, tuned it on CarBerry Rom, and so we're using a version 5.6 harness, remerged it. We actually, because of the 5.6 harness in this version 4, we ended up taking and having to do all the harnesses in the front, door panels, all the door panels had to come off. We did all the harnesses there too. But it's all good. It's ripping now, really ripping. Tuned on CarBerry Rom, you'll see that in the video. But here, let's take a look.
ATM orange. I sat there with the local guy and we were talking and we were going through colors, and basically the color that we came up with that seemed like it matched well. There's a couple things that you could do to change, like, because it pops so much. So like maybe even the Grimspeed red and this part being red, you can change that to either blue or the same orange or something like that. But you can kind of color contrast it now accordingly because the hard stuff is done. You know, now it's just like...